Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today, looking at another macro beer. Actually, none other than the famous Blue Moon. Can't believe I never reviewed this, especially since I've been in the States quite a few times. We've never had Blue Moon in Denmark, but it's a beer I think most European beer drinkers know about this beer. Because it's also sold in Europe. I think major markets is like the Czech Republic where they actually make it, and then also in not Germany, in the UK. And the thing is, so this is actually not the US brewed version. This is a European brewed version. It's brewed at Staropramen, I think, in Germany. Yeah, or in Germany, in the Czech Republic. Yeah, under license by MillerCoors. So it's owned by MillerCoors, and pretty much even if people who are not beer geeks will know this in Europe. It's funny because often you hear people go to the States, they've had a great vacation, and they talk about how the beer was shit because they only drank macro lagers. But then they found this great beer called Blue Moon, or they had that great beer called Sam Adams, because they tasted like a little bit more. That's usually like the stories you get. So I think a lot of both Danes and Europeans know this beer. And it's quite famous. There was a lot of controversy with this kind of being marketed as a craft alternative, or not really a craft alternative, but it's one of those crafty beers, you know. It's made by a huge brewing conglomerate, but it's not really stated anywhere on the bottle. It says it's made by Blue Moon Brewing Company since 1995. And it was never made at Blue Moon Brewing Company. It was some brewery in Colorado. It was not called, but it was owned by MillerCoors. I can't remember the name of the brewer who invented the recipe for it, but he was working at a brewery that was owned by MillerCoors, and it just became kind of like a more countrywide thing. It became really popular, and it was even called something. I think it was called, was it something with Belgian white? No, I can't remember exactly, but it had a different name in the past as well. So it's gone under some changes. There is a plethora of variants of this beer in the States, like pumpkin spice, mango, raspberry, all kinds of crap. So this is their interpretation of an authentic Witbier. It's a classic style, it's a Belgian style, and it's pretty much the Belgian interpretation of a Hefeweizen, which is the German wheat beer. So it's actually a newer style compared to some other styles around in Europe. It's not the oldest, and it's invented by Pierre Celis, if you don't know him. He was one of the brewers of Hoegaarden. He's known, Hoegaarden is, that's the granddaddy of the Belgian wheat beer. But many brewers have tackled this style. I even brew one at my brewery, which is like dry hopped and imperialized and whatnot. It's one of at my brewery, the brewery where I work at. It's not my favorite style, but once in a while I think they can be pretty refreshing beers. And even, the other big competitor to this brewery in the States, Anheuser-Busch have a beer called Shock Top, which is, pretty much the exact same thing. But that beer, I think they even did commercials where they dissed craft beer, where they did something like the Sun on the label said something like stupid names for craft beer. I can't remember how it was. But yeah, so Blue Moon is a wheat beer. It's made with it's made with white wheat. I think it's raw wheat in there as well a little bit. There's definitely also oats in there, and they use coriander and orange peel, which is pretty much the famous thing for the wheat beer or the wheat beer. What distinguishes a Belgian wit for a Hefeweizen is that Hefeweizen is only yeast, water, hops, malt. That's it. But this one has a Belgian approach. So you have a Belgian yeast that's similar in characters to it's probably some kind of, I guess, mutated strain of the German Hefeweizen yeast. So similar characters, but you add spices and orange peel to change it. And a lot of places you see this with an orange wedge in it. We even do that to our wheat beers at work, and I hate it. But it's not my choice. I'm not the owner. But hey, I guess it kind of looks good. But if you know anything about beer, it's just a bit like, yeah, no thanks. I'd rather just try the beer as it is. But yeah, it's a famous beer. I've not had it a lot because it's not ever been available in Denmark, but I've had it when I've been in the States. I remember it as being okay, actually, for a macro, but I haven't had it in a long time. So it will be fun to revisit Blue Moon. So let's get started on this one. So pours a hazy golden orange color. I mean, it looks like, a New England IPA almost. Not much had left, but that was because I spent time taking pictures and talking. So yeah, let's check out, the part was there was white and fluffy, but let's check out the aroma on Blue Moon Witbier, or white beer as they say in the States. It smells pretty damn authentic though. It actually does, I must say. It smells like what I expect from a Witbier. It's huge coriander profile, hints of banana, a little bit of a tart citrus vibe going on as well, which is I guess the orange. But the interesting thing about this beer in the past is that it would have been a little bit sour because of lactic bacteria and also acetic acid. But most modern interpretation are pasteurized, so they aren't. But because it's a beer style with so little hops and alcohol. This is a little strong. It's 5 point. Sorry, I didn't tell you guys. 5.4. Usually, like the Hefeweizen is a little bit lower, but it's a style that's usually quite prone for infections because you don't have the hops to preserve or the alcohol. But something that would take hold was lactic acid. I'm also getting a hint of almost a Clovio vibe, but it's also really freaking bubblegummy. Like it's so much bubblegum on it. Almost like a weird strawberry thing, I think, too. It's funny, it smells okay, but it also reminds me why this is not a style I drink too often. And the same with the Hefeweizens. I loved them when I was younger, but I got a bit away from this overripe banana, sweet citrus thing. I think this has a little bit of a banana edge, but the big thing is definitely not that. It's definitely like citrus, wheat, and coriander. But let's try Blue Moon. Cheers, guys. Ooh, it's thinner than I remember. It's really fucking coriander. If you're one of those people who are genetically not liking coriander, I don't know if you guys know, but genetically some people don't like coriander because of something. So to some people it tastes a lot like soap. To me it tastes not like soap. I liked it a lot. I like it a lot, but there's a ton of coriander flavor in this. Much thinner than I remember as well on the mouthfeel, and less of a citrus kick than I remember as well. But this is also the European brewed version, so I don't know how big the differences are, but it's a bit tame. But I don't think it's terrible beer, to be honest. If I was at a sports bar, whatever, and you had Bud Light, or you probably wouldn't have Bud Light. If you had Coors Light and you had this, I'd probably take this. But if they had Miller Lite, I might take that, because I actually think that's quite okay. If we're talking about the light beers, I have a review coming on that as well, actually. But again, it's nothing great, and neither is this. But I think it's okay, to be honest, and I think it's definitely something that's better than the macro lagers. And I think this, for a lot of people, might be the gateway into discovering craft beer. They try this, and it's a little bit different. It's got some flavor. It's not just like beer water. So there we go. So I think that might be a little bit of a gateway beer, but a problem with a beer like this is it's marketed as craft a little bit, as a crafty beer, and people, some people bite into it because they don't know, and then they support a huge conglomerate giant, which is, it's up to them where they want to spend the money, but they're so much bigger that it definitely should be more easy to discover. Nowhere on this bottle does it say anything about Coors, does it? Oh yeah, brewed under license from Coors Brewing Company and distributed by Molson Coors in the UK. Okay, so it is on the back, but who buys a beer and reads that, But yeah, a wolf in sheep's clothing or a gateway beer to craft beer? You guys let me know. What do you think? But I'll say I think it's okay. And it's funny, Carlsberg just did a beer, I think it's their interpretation of Blue Moon. They just released, if you guys want to see a review, let me know, Kronenbourg Blanc. And they own Kronenbourg Carlsberg, the French beer brand, and they released that beer, at least in Denmark, last year or something like that, and it is so popular. They sell it as a part of that craft range, and it's so fucking popular. Everyone drinks it. When you walk around at cafes outside, everyone drinks that beer. It's either that or their Grimbergen brand. It is crazy how popular that beer is. But it's a lot like this, actually. It's pretty much Carlsberg's Blue Moon. But I think that one had a bit more orange flavor, as far as I remember. But yeah, it's an okay beer. It's nothing great, but it's definitely not terrible. It's tolerable. It's okay. There's no off flavor. It tastes like a very lightly flavored Witbier, if you can say it like that. So for that, it's quite okay. I'm actually going to go 78, 79. One of the highest grades I've given a macro beer, I think. It's nothing great, but it's like maybe a 3.25 on Untapped. It's okay beer. So if you guys had a chance to try Blue Moon, a Belgian white by MillerCoors, or in Europe, MillerCoors, let us know what you thought of it, or let me know what you thought of it. Or do we prefer Shock Top? I don't know. I haven't seen that one around over here, so we're not going to be able to do a video on that. But yeah, if you guys had it, which you probably did, let me know what you thought of it. 10 years, or 9.5 years or so, and I finally get around to reviewing Blue Moon. But yeah, as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I almost like cheers, and see you guys in another beer review.